Hey guys, so it is still 2:45 on the other side. 2:35, sorry. And if you are just hopping on to watch this video, I was talking about the clock, sorry, opposite side, the clock on this picture and how it's going to bother me that it says the same time every time I record, even though it's not the same time when I'm recording. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to give you an update of my 18-month-old's bilingual speech and language development. I love this age. I love this age. There's just so much development going on. So he has great pre-linguistic skills. So pre-linguistic skills are the foundational skills. Excuse me. Oh, I wish I would have time to edit that out, but real life, I'm tired. I'm a mom of 3 and I'm running a business. I'm tired. Maybe it's relatable. So he's got great pre-linguistic skills, meaning the foundational skills for speech and language development. He is aware of his environment. He loves engaging socially with others. He shares attention with others on similar objects or things. So like, he's like, hey, you're looking at this thing, looks at me, looks at the thing. Are you seeing what this thing is doing? So he's got great joint attention. He's got great gestural communication. He does a lot of like body language gestures. So he'd be like, aqua, aqua, to see like where to go, to say where to go. Sometimes he'll say where to go or donde está, which are some of his gestalts. So sometimes a child will learn like a whole chunk, whole phrase, or whole saying as one unit of language. So instead of thinking like, oh, where did it go is where did it go, 4 different words, they just hear it as where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? And so it'll be like, where did it go? It go, it go, or it for like, ¿dónde está? So he's got a couple of those, but overall he's got a lot of single words, and we want to have about at least 50 words by 24 months, and he is getting close to hitting that, close to 18 months. Now, my firstborn was already at 50 words by 18 months and putting 2-word phrases together, which is like pretty great, and I would call an advanced language learner. My second one was more at like 30 words, 20 to 30 words at 18 months, and definitely got to 50 words and 2-word phrases by 24 months. So not a concerning, even though he didn't get there as fast as my firstborn. And my third is kind of in between the two, like not as advanced as my first, but also not as but a little bit ahead of my second. I was going to say not as delayed, but my second wasn't even delayed. He was just slower at developing language within the range of normal. And so my 18-month-old right now has about 40 words. And for a moment, a week ago, I thought he had said his first 2-word phrase besides his gestalts, his chunks. But I think there was enough pause between the 2 words that I think it was 2 separate words, which can be tricky when they're first starting to develop. They're merging those 2-word phrases. You can be like, was that 2 words or was that 2 separate words close to each other? So for example, he said my daughter's nickname. He said la la, and then he said agua. But the pause in between lala and agua, which is water, he was pointing at my daughter's water bottle, was, I think, enough that it wasn't lala's agua, or el agua de lala. So he, and then again, so I was like, was that his first 2-word phrase? I said, I'm not really sure. I'm going to monitor that. I'm going to see if that skill continues to emerge within this week. And it didn't. He kept just using 1-word phrases, or one single words to communicate along with his gestalts. And so I'm assuming that that was not a 2-word phrase because he didn't continue using them or he didn't continue developing them quite yet. But I know that he's getting close. Why? Because he's close to that 50-word mark. And so within the next 3 to 6 months, those 2-word phrases should fully emerge. So when I come back to give you an update, I am thinking that he's going to start using it. Oh my God. But wait, no. And I know that his 2-word phrases are going to entail a combination of his current phrases, which, like I said, la and agua are 2 of his current words, and he's using his current words to put them together. So I just can't wait to see like what he's going to say and what he has to share. He's so expressive and he's got such a personality. I can't wait to hear his thoughts, which is what laleo means. It means to use communication to express your thoughts, or to use language to express your thoughts. And so, yes, what else? Comprehension wise, he's doing great. He, of course, can identify a variety of familiar nouns and objects like animals and familiar people, family members. He can answer with a nod or a yes, no questions like, do you want to go to bed? Do you want to eat a snack? He'll accurately answer yes or no. And he will understand a lot of like where questions, like where are your shoes? Of course, all in Spanish. I should talk about that. So, ¿dónde están tus zapatos? ¿Dónde está Dada? Things like that. He'll go find whatever we're looking for. So yeah, he is definitely dominant in Spanish because he very rarely hears English. Very, very rarely. Like very rarely, because his daycare is primarily in Spanish. A lot of his peers, the preschoolers in the daycare are using a lot of Spanish there. We speak mainly Spanish at home. My parents, who he sees most frequently, speak Spanish with him. But I will say that when my in-laws come and interact with him, and we of course use English around them, he learns English really well because that's where he picked up where'd it go. Because my father-in-law would be like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And then after they left, my 18-month-old, at the time he was 16 months, he was like, go. So it's just amazing to see their languages develop. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you, this is the last thing and then I'll stop, was that from the moment he started daycare in September to like about January, I modeled the word adios twice a day when I dropped him off at daycare and when I picked him up at daycare and we were saying bye to the provider. I think I counted and it was about 230 some times that he heard me and saw me model the word adios. And sometime in January, I, by accident, said bye-bye instead of adios to the provider. And immediately he was like, Papa. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why? But the cool thing was that same week, we were listening to a song that has the word adios in it. It goes, es hora de decir adios, adios. Es hora de decir adios, adios. And now he says, acha for adios, but only when we sing the song. So if I'll be like, okay, say adios at daycare, he won't say it. But if I sing the song, I go, es hora de decir adios, and pause, and he goes, acha. So all that to say, not all hope was lost when I slipped once and said bye-bye, and he said it immediately. He repeated it immediately for the first time ever, because he did end up saying adios that same week, but with the use of music as a tool, which is just so powerful. So we'll see when eventually he starts using it independently or after a model in like real life context outside of singing the song. So that's it for my 18-month-old. If you have any questions about any of my kiddos and their stages of development with bilingual language development, let me know. And I hope you find these helpful. We'll check back in 3 months. See you later.